Are you ready for some reading? Well, before spring break, we heard books about animals that live in the ocean and animals that live on land. This was the last book that we read before spring break. Chameleons Are Cool, and it taught us all about chameleons. Today, we are going to read a book about animals that live all around the world and can walk on land, swim in the sea, and fly through the air. So we're going to talk about birds. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds, and I want you to think, what do you already know about birds? Today we're going to read a book called Birds, Winged and Feathered Animals. This book was written by Suzanne Slade, and it was illustrated by Kristen Kest. Okay. Look at these illustrations. They're very vibrant and colorful. This book is a nonfiction book, and in a lot of nonfiction books, when you open up to the first page, it's going to have one of our nonfiction conventions called a table of contents. Sometimes this page will just be labeled contents, but in this book, it's called table of contents. In this book, the table of contents is going to give the reader a clue about what kind of information will be in that chapter. So if we look at these are all chapters. And if you remember your teacher telling you before spring break, when you're reading a nonfiction book, you don't always have to read it in order from beginning to end. Okay, if you're just wanting to learn about hungry birds, you can look here and you can turn to page 16. If you just want to learn about strange birds, you can look right here and turn directly to page 20. Okay, so I'm going to read some of the chapter titles to you today and then ask you a question for you to think about. A world full of animals, feathers and wings, bones and blood, beginning as an egg, home sweet home, perching and water birds, hungry birds, flightless birds, strange birds. After hearing the chapter titles, what are you wondering about birds? I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to think about what you're wondering about birds. All right. Here are my wonderings. I wrote my wonderings down, and you feel free to write your wonderings down in your reader's notebook if you'd like. I wonder if all birds can fly. I wonder if all birds come from eggs. And I wonder what makes some birds strange. Those are my wonderings. Remember, if you're going to write your wonderings in your reader's notebook, make sure you start with the words I wonder and then write your wondering after those words. Okay, today I'm going to read just part of the book, just like I do at school. I'm going to start with page 4, A World Full of Animals, and I'm going to read to page 11. So here we go. A World Full of Animals is our heading. Millions of animals live on our planet. Scientists classify animals or group them together by looking at how the animals are alike or different. Scientists have found about 10,000 different kinds of birds in the world. All birds have certain things in common: feathers and wings, a backbone, lightweight bones, and a 4-chambered heart. They are all warm-blooded and they hatch from eggs. 6 of the more familiar main groups of animals living on Earth are mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, fish, and insects. Let's take a closer look at birds. Don't forget to read the pictures. So they've got duck, geese, and swans are in a group together, turkeys, chickens, and pheasants. We've got penguins, eagles, hawks, falcons, owls, parrots, a heron, hummingbird, and swift. Feathers and wings. All birds have feathers and wings. Feathers protect birds' skin from the sun and keep birds warm during winter. Feathers are also lightweight and help birds fly. Most birds have strong wings and can fly fast and far. Many travel hundreds of miles each year when they migrate to new places. These are ring-necked ducks. Here's a caption. Birds preen or clean their feathers often. They use their hard beaks to comb their feathers. What are some ways feathers help birds? I'm going to give you 10 seconds to think. What are some ways feathers help birds? Did you say feathers protect birds' skin from the sun and keep birds warm during the winter? Did you say that feathers also help birds fly? I grabbed those facts right from the text. All right. Bones and blood. Every bird has a skeleton made of a backbone and other small bones inside its body. Animals with backbones are called vertebrates. Many bird bones have spaces of air in them. These light bones allow birds to fly better. Look at this close-up. That's one of our conventions that we're going to learn about, a close-up, where the author and the illustrator, they point to a specific part of a picture and then they zoom in so that you can see that closer. Birds have hearts with 4 chambers or large spaces. They are also warm-blooded animals. That means their body temperature almost always stays the same. Let's read this caption down here. As they soar through the sky, birds breathe in a gas called oxygen with their lungs. Like people, birds need oxygen to live. Beginning as an egg. A bird's life begins inside an egg covered with a hard shell. Most female birds lay their eggs in nests. A parent bird often sits on the eggs to help keep them safe and warm until the young birds hatch. Parent birds bring food to their young until the young are old enough to leave the nest. Birds can fly a few weeks after hatching. Most birds build their nests out of sticks, feathers, and grasses, but some do not. A small bird called a swallow uses mud and feathers to make its nest, and these are called barn swallows. That's a little label that tells you the type of bird. Okay, we're going to stop here, but I'm going to ask you 2 questions that I want you to either respond to in your reader's notebook, or if you have a thinking partner, it could be a stuffed animal, a grandma, a grandpa, a mom, a dad, a brother, or sister. I'd like you to talk with them about these 2 questions. The first question is, what did you learn about birds today that surprised you? Second question is, what are you wondering about birds? Is there anything that you're still wondering? If I go back to my wonderings, I'm still wondering what makes some birds strange. We didn't get to that chapter of the book yet, but tomorrow we will. So hopefully if I keep reading, it's going to answer my question. All right, guys, thanks for listening. We'll catch up and finish this book tomorrow. Happy reading.